And Bill, you had the chance to play against both of these teams this week. First of all, tell me a little bit about the team from Illinois.
Okay, Illinois finished second in the round robin, played very well all week, played with a lot of enthusiasm. They're a young team, their first trip to the Nationals. They've played real well, especially Tim Wright, their skip, and John Jahant, their third. Played very well all week.
And how about this team from Wisconsin?
Okay, Wisconsin's a veteran, experienced team. They've been here before. Steve Brown, the skip, has won the U.S. men's title before. They were steady all week, played consistently, did not give up any big ends to anyone, and just played real well.
Many of our viewers out there may not be familiar with the sport of curling. Tell us a little bit first, what's the object of the sport?
Okay, the object is to get stones closer to the center. The number that you have closer to the center than your opponent is the number of points that you would score in an end, or inning as we call them.
So there's going to be a lot of strategy going on today.
Yeah, each team will be jockeying for the hammer, trying to control the center or trying to control the game so they can score the points.
So it's Wisconsin against Illinois here from the Milwaukee Country Club, the site of the 1985 United States Men's Curling Association Championships. We'll be back with the start of it right after this timeout. From the Milwaukee Country Club in Mequon, Wisconsin, the home of the Milwaukee Curling Club, Milwaukee Public Television brings you the finals of the 29th Annual United States National Curling Championships. Today's final match pits the state of Illinois, representing Wilmette, Illinois, against the state of Wisconsin, represented by the team from Madison. Welcome back. Adrian Sakowitz along with Bill Rhyme from the Milwaukee Country Club, a jam-packed Milwaukee Country Club. I'll mention a very large and enthusiastic crowd on hand. There is not a seat left in the building as we see the first rock being thrown, and Bill will pick up, first of all, Armstrong. Russ Armstrong throwing the first stone for the team from Illinois. Now the team from Wisconsin will be throwing, and you see part of the contingent on hand here from the Milwaukee Country Club.
Okay, Steve Brown here from Wisconsin is just playing a takeout on that stone that Russ put in the house, and he's got a piece of it there. I think you'll see both teams play conservatively here to start, nobody wanting to make any mistakes.
Very, very intricate sport in a sense. Curling is a lot of strategy involved, and we'll take you through that. The scoring system we'll be bringing you up to date on shortly as soon as everybody gets a chance to throw their first two stones. Stones I refer to, those are the objects right there that Jim Wilson has his hand on. Jim Wilson throwing second for the team from Illinois. It's a team from Wilmette, Illinois, and there he goes.
Okay, that's still Russ Armstrong. Each player has two here. And he's trying to leave this stone short of the rings. We can see it going.
A little bit short there, but it's still in play. The object, of course, is to get your stone close to the middle to score some points and get more of your stones close to the middle than the other team. And tell us a little bit about the strategy involved. First, you've got the leadoff man for one team going against the leadoff from the other team, trying to get it close. Bill, take us through this one.
Okay, in this case here, Wisconsin's got the last stone in this end. Illinois is trying to prevent them from getting to the center. They're trying to control the center of the sheet so they can get close. And as you can see here, Wisconsin is peeling off the Illinois stones, taking them off and leaving nothing in the rings.
Now here's Jim Wilson. 37-year-old Jim Wilson. He's an insurance broker for the Wilmette Curling Club. That's a North Shore suburb down in Chicago, about 15-20 miles outside of the city itself. And here goes Jim.
Okay, you can see the team sweeping there, trying to make that stone travel just a little bit farther, end up in the position that they needed. Again, they want these short of the rings. They don't want them in. And you can see it coming up here, just in the rings, a little bit too far.
There you see Russ Armstrong was the first man to throw for the team from Illinois. Jim Wilson just took his first rock. He'll get one more coming up, but opposing him right now is the second man for the team from Wisconsin. That's George Godfrey. George Godfrey is 40 years old. He owns a bicycle and ski shop in Madison, Wisconsin, and here he is for the team from Wisconsin, who had a great week, as did the team from Illinois.
Again, the same strategy here. Wisconsin playing very conservatively, just taking them out, not taking any chances.
Little defense played and knocks the other stone right out of the rink. And Jim Wilson now will be getting his second shot for the team from Illinois.
I think both teams are probably a little bit nervous now, so they're trying to play simple shots, not get anything complicated.
And a little defense there played. And Jim Wilson accomplished what he wanted to. Now it's Wisconsin's turn once again. George Godfrey rubbing off the bottom of his stone, which weighs, I believe, 42 pounds.
Yeah, that's correct. And the idea here is you want to make sure your stone's clean. If there's a little piece of dirt or a brush hair on it, it could cause it to go off the path that you wanted to throw on. You notice they're sliding out there. They have to release the stone before they get to that black line.
And a little motion on the stone makes it curve just a little bit.
Right. Beautiful shot there. He rolled to the outside.
That's exactly where he wanted to be. Nice shot by George Godfrey. In case you just joined us, we're at the Milwaukee Country Club. Mequon, Wisconsin. Adrian Sakowitz along with Bill Rhyme. It's the 1985 United States Men's Curling Association Championships. A large contingent on hand. There you see the place packed. Part of the crowd on hand. A lot of people lining the sidelines here too. It's a little cooler out there. It's 40 degrees according to the thermometer right outside the window here. That's where the players are. As we see John Jahan throwing his first rock for the team from Illinois.
Again, they're just playing very safely here, making sure they get the stone, not trying anything fancy. Now that one's off, and Steve will probably elect to draw around it. We'll see here.
As we look at John Jahan, 25-year-old, manager of the Northmore Country Club down in Illinois. Steve Brown from Wisconsin eyeing the situation down. Takes a look at the rock, and third member of his team, Jeff Goodland, is in position on the other side of the rink. There we see a good look at Steve Brown, the skip for Wisconsin. And the skip stays on the other side while the players are throwing to kind of direct traffic. And Bill, tell us a little bit about the strategy, what the skip is doing now.
Okay, in this case, Steve elected again to play safely, to play away from that white stone and play across onto the rings on the other side, not make any mistakes. Just play safely till they get their rhythm and get into the game. Good stone.
There you see it in fine position. And John Jahan with his second rock now for Illinois. We're still in the first end. We play a total of 10 ends. John Jahan letting go. He has to let go before that black line, which he did. And his teammates out in front of the stone. As you hear the skip in the background, directed traffic.
Okay, Steve is back there trying to get that out of the rings, and he's just got it out. Anytime the stone crosses that back line, the tee line back there, each skip has equal rights to sweep on it.
There you see nobody touching the circle right now. We can get into a little bit about the scoring, how we're working this here. You could potentially, I suppose, have 8 points in one particular end, but that's about as tough as getting a hole-in-one in a 500-yard hole, I suppose. Theoretically, what does a nice point total have after each particular end, Bill? What are you trying for as a team?
Okay, when you've got the last stone, you're trying to score 2 or more. When your opponent has the last stone, you're trying to hold them to 1, or if you can possibly steal 1, you're trying to allow them no more than 1 point.
You see players from Wisconsin feverishly sweeping in front of that stone.
Real fine stone there.
And it's in good position right there.
Now, if Illinois mishits the stone, they'll drive it back onto their own white one, leaving Wisconsin stone still in the back of the rings.
The ice at the Milwaukee Country Club, like every other curling club, is kind of coarse. We were walking on it a little while ago to get the texture of it, and it's a little bit rougher. Tell us the theory behind that, Bill.
Okay, the stones have a running surface on the bottom, and they run on this coarse pebble, it's called, and it allows the stone to go along the go along the ice. If the ice was flat like skating ice, you would not be able to throw them down there. It would be too hard.
There you see getting a little bit of the traction on the ice. It's a little bit coarser, slows it down a little bit quicker, and that's obviously the object. You want to stop it close to the middle or within the scoring range to get some points for your team. Tim Wright is the skip for Illinois. As we take a look at the last shot taken that time for Wisconsin, and you can see how the ice slows it down just enough with the help of the sweeping.
Right, well, the sweeping actually is designed to carry the stone farther. It actually polishes the ice slightly, and it will allow the stone to travel a little bit farther.
Now we're back to live action here. Tim Wright, the skip from Illinois, launching one and pushing the other rock off.
Good stone. Good stone by John there.
Now we're coming back down to the other side, where the skip from Wisconsin, Steve Brown, will be up next, taking the first of his 2 rocks. You see, eye the situation. Scoring in this game can be a little confusing, but we'll take you through it just as soon as this end is over. After each player has taken 2 rocks, that's one particular end. Steve Brown in position, and we take a look at the rock. There you see it. 42 pounds. But you're not actually throwing 42 pounds. You're just kind of giving a little momentum with the legs and the body, pushing off, and the ice does the rest of the work.
Right. Strength is not a factor here. It's mostly finesse and balance.
39-year-old Steve Brown, the skip from Wisconsin. Beautiful rock that time by Steve.
Wanted.
There you get a good look at Steve, who's a chief underwriter for health insurance at the American Family Insurance. A lot of these gentlemen on both teams today are in the insurance business.
I guess it gives them the time off to curl. It takes a lot of time and effort.
Didn't see any brochures passed out beforehand, so concentrating today mainly on their curling. Now the team from Illinois with their captain, Tim Wright. He's 27 years old, and he's a computer programmer. This is Tim's second rock, and the final rock for the team from Illinois in this particular end, which is the first end. There you get a good look at Tim eyeing the situation. Good.
Real great stone here. He's trying to roll behind. Real beautiful. Just what he called. He's trying to hide his stone there to give Steve Brown less rock to see, so he's got much more difficult shot.
Now it's the final stone of the first end, and Steve Brown, one of the finer players you'll ever see in the sport of curling, getting everything ready to take his shot. It's an all-important shot too. If he puts it in good position, he has the chance to give his Wisconsin team the lead. Otherwise, with that nice shot from Tim Wright, Illinois is potentially looming right now for a point.
Right, I believe Steve here will be playing to blank this end, try to keep control of the hammer. He'll be trying to hit Tim Stone in the back there and roll out rather than stay. He does.
Steve lining up the situation. And he's off.
Okay, he's got a good shot coming here. There, beauty. Okay, he stayed and took the point.
That's exactly what he wanted to do. A nice shot from Steve Brown. He gets a fine round of applause here from the large crowd assembled at the Milwaukee Country Club. And the score at the end of one end, Wisconsin with 1 point and Illinois with 0. We can take a look at the scoreboard here, and Bill, we can explain to the viewers exactly how the scoring goes. It's a little confusing, but it is understandable. It took me a while, but I think I've got it now.
Right. Okay, the numbers in the middle are the total score that any team has got. The numbers on the top and bottom are the inning or end that those points were scored in. So at any one time, it will be the total score for each team reflected there in the middle.
This is what everybody sees at the country club, and for your viewers out there, we can take a look at the score. Wisconsin 1, Illinois 0. That's exactly what the other board reads. It's kind of different to read. It's kind of, you guys were telling me before, the opposite of baseball. Scoring is kind of the reverse. We'll get a chance a little later on to take a look at the scoreboard again. But it's a very, very fascinating sport. All the different terminology. The teams are called rinks. The captain is called a skip. The actual stone they're throwing is called a stone or a rock, and there's several different terms you can use, and it's a very fascinating sport, Bill.
Right, and it's a sport that's got a lot of tradition and been played here in the United States since the 1850s.
Now, since the team from Wisconsin took a point and won that first end, they throw first in this second end, and Hans Gostrowski already threw his rock in position. Now the first thrower from Illinois, Russ Armstrong, releases his and cleans off the scoring.
That's not, I think Tim would have rather had him stay there. He gives Wisconsin a chance again to start the end over and get the stones placed in the position that they want, which is short of the rings.
Competition this week began on Sunday, last Sunday, the 24th, with practice. It has been a week-long activity. It's made national wire services. I saw a lot of it down in Chicago, the results and things. So the sport of curling with a national championship is getting recognition. Maybe they'd like some more recognition, but I'll tell you, as more people become accustomed to the game and get to see it through TV and just by coming out themselves, and come to grow and enjoy this sport, because it is a very easy sport to understand after you get to play it for a while.
You're right, and it's also a sport that anybody can play, any age. You can be young or old, and learn to play and enjoy it.
The lead from Illinois, Russ Armstrong with his second stone, and down on the other side, Tim Wright, the skip, is pointing exactly where he wants that stone to be thrown. There you see Tim Wright.
The broom there indicates the amount of curl on the stone.
And the sweepers, John Jahand and Jim Wilson.
Okay, he wanted that to roll farther out, so it wasn't blocking the center. Now Wisconsin's got a chance here to come around into the house, as we call it, and bury a stone. We'll just see what Steve calls.
There we take a look. George Godfrey, he's 40 years old. The number 2 in the lineup for the team from Wisconsin. He's getting his first rock. Eyeballing the situation all the way down. Wisconsin leading 1-0. We've just begun. We're in the second end here from the Ozaki Country Club. And there goes George Godfrey.
Move.
It's a good stone, except it's a little bit far out. This could allow Illinois to roll in here behind him if he makes a good shot.
There you see George Godfrey. Now the second thrower for the team from Illinois, and that's Jim Wilson. There goes Jim, letting the stone go. The stone, as we mentioned, about 42 pounds. It is not more than 36 inches in circumference and less than 11.5 centimeters high. Very standard.
Okay. That's a good stone, too. It rolled back to the outside there. Steve will be trying, I believe, here to hit this and roll back towards the center.
There you see Jim. George Godfrey getting his second stone ready. Playing a little strategy, and part of the strategy is getting a good push off. Taking a look, you can slide all the way to the release line. You have to let the rock go before the release line, and you want to get as close to it as you can so you get as much direction as you can. Bill, I'm sure you're very, very accustomed to getting right up there and letting it go. It's like almost a foul line in bowling, trying to get right up there to as close as you can.
Right. The idea is to slide on the line towards the broom and carry that stone as far as you can. There's a real fine shot by George. He's going to roll across that ring. The other thing you want to do in cases like this is change the position of the stone so your opponent doesn't get to play the same shot 2 times in a row. And that's what Steve was doing there.
Tim Wright in the white jacket, pointing down to the other end, where Jim Wilson is getting his second shot. There you get a good look at the push-off.
You can notice all the different deliveries here, different styles, all of them effective. It's a good stone.
Nice shot that time from Jim Wilson. Both of these teams had fine records throughout the week, and putting a lot of points on the board is what counts. And you see the point scoring average so far for the week. Wisconsin 8.1, Illinois just trailing 7.7. But sometimes the points you get are only surpassed by the points against you. You got to play some good defense too. Wisconsin giving up 7-7. Illinois, very tough defensive team, 5.4.
Yeah, Illinois style of play here is they're a little bit more of a takeout team. Wisconsin a little bit more of a draw team. So Wisconsin will have given up a few more points than Illinois.
That was a nice shot. It's rock being partially covered up by the rock out in front of the house. And here's George Godfrey coming down to help out on the sweeping of the next shot, but in particular John Jahant from Illinois, 25-year-old, letting go. Not much sweeping going on in this one. It looks like it's going to be on target, and it does the job.
Right now it looks like both teams seem to be right on their games. Nobody seems to be nervous or missing, so we should have a real fine game here.
A little more defense than you expected so far, Bill, or is it going pretty much as you thought?
No, I think both teams again are going to play conservatively. They don't want to let one of them get out in front of the other, well, I think we'll see in the 6th or 7th or 8th end one of the teams try and make a move here to get multiple points, a 2 or a 3.
1-0 is the score, but there's a potential point in the house. Jeff Goodland, the third thrower for Wisconsin, trying to knock that point out if he can. It looks like it'll be really curling.
No, he's really okay. It's really curling across there. It's a good stone though. Sometimes the ice this week has been very good, but it's very sensitive to how hard you throw it. If you pick up your weight just a little bit or let off a little bit, the stone will break across there and you'll get a miss.
John Jahant once again going to target himself to knock the other stone out of the house. It's his second and final stone.
It looks wide here. He's got a piece of it. It's good stuff.
There you see it. He's still
nice.
touching the end of the house. That would count as a point unless it's belted off by the other team. There you see it's got to be touching any part of that widest blue line. Just 2 rocks remaining for each team as we get to the skips. And you see coming down George Godfrey looking at the whole picture. There you see part of the crowd lining the side wall as we look at Steve Brown. He's got his rock ready and he's ready to let it fly. Jeff Goodland down in the house, pointing things out for Steve. And Steve is looking for a little direction. There you see the 39-year-old Steve Brown. And on the other side, Jeff Goodland, pointing exactly, is that the point where he wants him to let it go, Bill?
That's right. Jeff's broom is what Steve is aiming at, and he'll let that stone go right on Jeff's broom, and it will curl over to the white rock. They'll be playing fairly heavily here. With that, he's got to be inside here, or they're calling for sweep like this. It's really curling over here. I don't know where he's got it. It looks like a miss. Yeah, he's by the stone. You can see it curved and curled by there. This is a big break for Illinois right here.
A big break that time because the Illinois stone is still in scoring position now. It's a big opportunity for Illinois to put another stone in the house. As we can see on the replay, Jeff Goodland knows there's nothing they can do as the stone comes by.
It's just narrow, and that's our terminology for being inside the broom, and we call it narrow. Steve let it go a little bit inside on that one.
Could be costly for Wisconsin, depending on what Tim Wright can do. Tim Wright is the skip for Illinois. He'll be throwing. He's got 2 stones left, and Steve Brown has 1 left. And right now in the house, there is 1 point for Illinois, and a key opportunity to put a couple more on the board.
What they're talking about here, Tim is trying to decide whether to be real aggressive and go in behind his own stone and possibly have an opportunity for 3, or split and spread the stones out and just take his 2 points. That's what they're discussing, I believe.
Bill, how did your team from Alaska fare against Illinois this week?
We had a real good game with them. Came down to the last shot. Tim had the last rock. We were in the rings, and he had to hit us and stay, and he did. He made a fine shot to beat us.
And how about Wisconsin?
They beat us fairly handily. We didn't play nearly as well against them.
Here goes Tim Wright, his first rock. Looks like he's aiming in the middle to...
Right, he's trying to come around that front stone there. Looks a little heavy. He's gonna be aggressive here. It's real nice to see. He's got a good stone. It's a good stone. It's just a little bit out in the open.
Beautiful shot that time. Here it comes down, curling behind.
They're going to try to sweep here right at the end, try to get it to just curl over a little bit, carry a little bit farther. That's what John's trying to do, trying to get it tucked in there behind that white stone a little bit more. That's out in front.
I need to do that for about 3 hours around my house, especially in the corners.
Sweeping will keep you in shape, I promise you.
It sure will. Steve Brown, with his last rock, has got his work cut out for him here. Right now, Illinois has 2 rocks in the house, potentially 2 points. They're trailing, but we're early. We're in the second end. They trail, though, 1-0. And Steve Brown, who last time had his rock slip by everything, could be a costly miss. Let's see where he's going to put it now.
He's just trying to play a bump this white one back. Not real.
Jeff Goodland pointing exactly where he wants him to throw that rock. Here goes Steve Brown.
It's hanging out there.
Uh-oh, could blow by everything. Oh, and it does.
That's a big opportunity here for Illinois.
Steve Brown blowing it by again.
I couldn't, he may have been a little wide, but most likely I think he was just a little, he threw it harder than he intended.
Steve upset about that one, and you get a good view of where he's trying to put it. There you see Jeff Goodland down at the top of the screen, hoping it'll take out the rock in the middle, but he splits the uprights.
Right. I just think it looks from this angle that they were sweeping it, so I think he was on the broom. It's just a matter that he threw it too hard. If you watch it go by here, it would have carried back to the backboard, and I don't think Steve intended to be that hard with that stone.
Well, nothing else Steve and Jeff can do now. It's up to Tim Wright. Illinois has 2 points in the house, and now they're trying for a third. Let's see what they can do. John Jahan down on the other side, pointing where he wants things to go. Jim Wilson and Russ Armstrong vigorously sweeping for Illinois, and let's see where this one goes. 2 points in the house already.
Good stone coming here. This is a real nice. Real nice.
That's a beautiful shot.
That's a big breaker early in this game for Illinois.
A very big break that time, and At the end of 2 ends, Illinois has taken a 3-1 lead over Wisconsin. Tim Wright with a couple of fine rocks, and Steve Brown having a little bit of early trouble. That cost Wisconsin a couple of points.
Yeah, he just underthrew his first one and overthrew his second one.
In case you just joined us, Adrian Sakowitz along with Bill Rhyme at the Ozaki Country Club here in Mequon, Wisconsin. There you see the score, Illinois leading Wisconsin 3-1 in the USCA Men's Championships. Russ Armstrong gets the first stone in the 3rd end for Illinois. It's a team from Wilmette in Illinois. And there goes Russ. And you got some interesting statistics so far, Bill.
Yeah, after 2 ends, we've got Illinois as a team at 73%, and we've got Wisconsin at 57%. So the score kind of reflects the difference in their shooting percentages here.
We'll go into those statistics in a little bit, Tell. It's a kind of an interesting scoring system where you get no points if your rock thrown does not do what you want it to, and you get all 3 points if the rock that you throw does exactly what it wants to, and there's anywhere in between with a 1 and a 2. So we can take you through that, but it reflects the scoring so far is 73% Illinois, and that's why they have a 3-1 lead. Hans Kostrowski letting go for Wisconsin. Nice shot. There's Hans. 40-year-old Hans Kostrowski. He's an insurance adjuster for the Employees Insurance of Wausau, Wisconsin. There we see the scoring system that we're basing our percentages on so far. 0 points for a miss and 3 for making a called shot. This does not reflect the overall scoring at all. It's just a way of kind of playing the percentages and seeing who's doing what's right and understanding exactly why one team is leading. Russ Armstrong with his second shot. Russ is the youngest guy out here in the finals. He's 22 years old. Russ is also an insurance agent. If you need any insurance, I'll tell you, this is the place to come.
Yeah, you need lots of time off to curl, and it seems the insurance business lends itself to that.
Hans Kostrowski with his second rock for the team from Wisconsin, which is trailing right now by a score of 3-1. There you see Hans the lead from the team from Wisconsin.
I think you'll see Steve play real hard here, try and make up those 2 points. He'll be playing either in the house or just short of it here, trying to get something up in front to come around. Yeah, that's a real good stone, real fine stone there. He's trying to use some use it as a guard there so he can come around it. And Tim will be trying here to prevent him from doing that. He'll be taking off these stones, not allowing Steve to leave anything up front.
And here's Jim Wilson, 37 years old. In case you're wondering, curling just wasn't started last week or something. Matter of fact, in Milwaukee, the first curling began back in 1843, and it was down in the Milwaukee River by the Scottish settlers around here.
Okay, there's a miss out of Illinois. They wanted to roll that out. They hit it on the nose. So we'll see George here try to draw around this stone and hide it. So Illinois can't get to it.
A lot of rich tradition and history here at the Milwaukee Curling Club, which is, as we mentioned at the top of the show, the oldest in the country. The committee for this particular championship, the general chairman, John Hamm, vice chairman, Michael Malone, the secretary, Barbara Hamm, competition coordinated by Jerry Packard. A lot of assistance from Steve Quayle, who's sitting here with us, figuring out some statistics with us also. An awful lot of very nice people involved in putting this whole thing together. The 1985 U.S. Curling Association Men's National Championship.
Okay, Steve has elected to use two corner guards here. It's a common strategy when you're behind. It looks like it's going a little deep here. It's just a little bit far. It's into the rings. He wanted it short. He wanted it one on each side, and then he would start drawing around them to try and get 2 points in this end.
Jim Wilson with his second rock for Illinois. Illinois throwing first in this particular end because they won the second end. And there's a little disadvantage going first because obviously the opposition throws last. and has that last stone and that last potential to score or play some defense.
Right. Steve here will play real aggressively because he's got that last rock, and he's behind. He wants to try and score 2 points, I'm sure.
As we take a look at the skip from Illinois, that's Tim Wright. George Godfrey with his second rock. 3-1 is the score. Wisconsin trails in the third end. We're early. We play a total of 10 ends. Steve Brown pointing down on the other side. And Wisconsin needs to get back into this game early. They'd like to get a couple of points and retake the lead, maybe with 3.
He's playing another corner guard here. George's last stone came too far. He's trying to leave it up there short. And he's a master at this. This is one of his strong points. Tim will have to be careful not to let Steve get into this not to get into this kind of game with Steve. He's an expert at it.
Hans Kostrowski walking by, and John Jahant, 25 years old. Third thrower for Illinois is up next. Single elimination in this final round, so the winner of this goes on to the World Championships, and I believe that's in Glasgow.
Yeah, March 25th through the 31st in Glasgow. 10 nations, United States and Canada, and many of the European countries. So there's a fine shot by John. Beautiful.
Last year, the team from Hibbing, Minnesota, represented the United States. That team comprised of Bruce Roberts, Joe Roberts, Gary Cleffman, and Jerry Scott. In '83, the winner was from Colorado, and back in '82, the team from Madison, Wisconsin. There you see in '82, the Madison team went to the World Championships, and in '81, the team from Superior, Wisconsin. And we see down the line Minnesota with fine teams, and Wisconsin also, and Washington down in '75 had a team going to the World. So several great teams involved in the competition this week, and it's a break here, a break there. As a matter of fact, Bill, your team coming all the way from Alaska to compete this week.
Yeah, we played real well. Could have won 1 or 2 more games. We could have been in the playoffs too. Just an inch or 2 there, a shot or 2.
Wisconsin fans happy that they're in the finals. And for our viewers down in Illinois, they're happy too to see a team from Wilmette.
Oh, great shot here by Jeff. Great shot. He's buried it behind the guard. A beautiful hit and roll here.
Jeff Goodland with a very, very nice throw that time for Wisconsin. And it's a standing room only crowd here at the Ozaukee Country Club.
Okay, there might be a little confusion here. Jeff threw the wrong color rock. There's no penalty or anything like that in this situation. All they do is exchange the rocks. So that's what's going on here. He just grabbed the wrong rock to throw it. It doesn't make any difference. They're all the same. It's just he threw the wrong color, so they've replaced it, and they just continue on with the end.
I suppose in some sports, though, there'd be some serious penalties. I know that if baseball, if you bat out a turn or something, it causes serious problems.
Right.
But
if you play out of turn, there is some there is some problems. But in this case, just throwing the wrong color rock, they just replace the stones, just exchange them.
There is no difference between the rocks then on the 2 teams or in all the competition.
No, they're match pairs, and so they're all the same. I don't believe that John can see this shot here. What he's playing here is he's going to try and drive the white stone onto the red stone and take it out, because he can't come around it. He can't see it all. So this is a difficult shot here.
There goes John Jahant.
He's been making these all week, so I wouldn't. No, he just didn't get up enough on it there. It didn't curl up quite enough, so he's left
wide.
So now Steve's got a chance to get right back in the game here. With a stone in the rings, he'll be lying 2. And
so far this week, Illinois has beaten Connecticut and beaten Washington, beaten Minnesota, beaten North Dakota, and beat your team, Bill, from Alaska 6-5, and has lost to Wisconsin 9-7.
Wisconsin played real strong game against them and just outplayed them.
But then you see they've went on 4 victories in a row, losing to Colorado, but then coming back. Now it's the finals, Illinois against Wisconsin. Goodland throwing for Wisconsin.
They've got to have this in the rings. The sweepers are bearing down as hard as they can here. It's got a good stone if they can get it in. They're really working. It's got a great shot. This is 2 great shots from Jeff Goodland here. No, it's short. It looks, I guess it's short. You can see. So that really hurts there.
There you see Jeff.
Yeah.
Eyeballing the situation. He goes, oh, geez.
Yeah.
A little bit more muscle. Steve Brown talking to Jeff, consoling each other. Steve had a couple of shots in the second end that hurt his team, and they've got a long way to go, though, because the scoring in this game could come fast, as we saw by Illinois getting 3 points in the second end.
Right. There's 10 ends to play. I'm sure Steve is not concerned. I mean, he wants to catch up, but 10 ends to play. A lot of things could happen yet. He was not going to get too excited.
Tim Wright, skip from Illinois. A computer programmer with his first rock for Illinois. And this is the third end.
He's got a good stone. Real good.
Nice shot that time from Tim Wright.
At this point, Steve has no choice but to just exchange stones with Tim. I hope he gets a miss here in this end. That's the only way basically he's going to get a 2.
And here comes Steve. Wisconsin throwing last in this particular end by virtue of Illinois getting 3 points and winning the second end. And some of the equipment. Do you travel with your own equipment, Bill?
Yeah, you always carry your own brooms, sliders, shoes, and all of that kind of stuff, gloves. In fact, we never trust the airlines with our curling equipment. We're afraid they might lose it. Carry it on the planes once.
So you've got to carry these 42-pound rocks?
Oh, no, the rocks
stay.
The rocks stay. The only thing we don't bring is the rocks. The rocks are provided by the club. Every club has their own match set.
I was going to say, if each of you had to hold a couple of those in your duffel bag,
yeah,
it'd be a little tricky.
Yeah.
And Steve Brown's shot coming around.
He went out.
Knocking the other rock off, but knocking himself off, too.
Yeah, not what he wanted there. Again, Tim, he wanted to stay. Now Tim has control of this end. He can draw around. Steve Stone's there in the front, and again, force Steve to make a difficult shot to save a point or save the end.
Steve kind of upset at that throw, too. Now it's down to Tim Wright again as we look at Steve Brown. He will have the last shot. So he's going to have to play some defense after Tim Wright gets through with his throw. Here we take a look at some of the onlookers in this jam-packed Ozaukee Country Club. Can't find a seat in the seating area behind the curlers and to the side. Chairs are lined up. There we see everybody. Those people, though, are sitting in 40-degree weather. There you see the guy with his hood up. I don't think there's much of a wind chill in there. But still, it's 40 degrees and a balmy 70 inside here. So we got here early. We got the better seats.
Right. Here comes Tim. He's trying to draw around Steve's front stones. It looks a little heavy. And it's also going to be out in the open. It's a good shot, but not. He would have liked to have it farther over there behind those, so Steve would not be able to see it and have to play a more difficult shot.
Well, I guess there is a little bit of a wind chill as we see the fans blowing in there. Somebody send the guy out there some coffee. He's shivering. There we take a look now. The last throw of the third end, and it belongs to Steve Brown, the skip from Wisconsin.
I believe here Steve is trying to blank this end. He will try and hit this white stone, roll out, keep the hammer, try and score 2 points coming in this next end.
There you see the score, 3-1, Illinois on top. The team from the Wilmette Curling Club facing the team from Wisconsin. That's the team from Madison. Steve Brown. Trying to get Wisconsin another point or two if he can. Coming down heavy.
He wants to roll out here. No, yeah, he's out. That's what he wanted in this case. He wants to keep the last shot, try and score a multiple.
Well, there you see, no score for that particular end. Steve played a little defense, bumped Tim Wright out of the house, and in the process bumping himself out. But as Bill mentioned, keeping the advantage, and Illinois will be throwing first in the fourth end. 3-1 is the score. Illinois on top of Wisconsin here from the Ozaukee Country Club. The 1985 USCA Men's Championships. We'll be back with end number 4, plus a lot of action right after this break.
Hi, I'm Michelle Menapace. I'm here in our Channel 10 studios with Corinne Kunz, and we would like to take this opportunity to welcome you back to Festival 85 and remind you to stay tuned, because some of the best programs that you'll find anywhere on television are going to be here on Channel 10 throughout festival period. From March 9th through March 24th, you can find everything from science to science fiction, from drama to music to children's programs. Stay tuned, because we'll be telling you how you can become a member of the Friends and keep programs like the one you just enjoyed here throughout the year on Channel 10.
A question we frequently get asked, especially by our members, is why must you do those awful pledge breaks? Well, quite simply, it comes down to money. Pledge breaks are the most cost-efficient and cost-effective way for us to raise money and reach the people who are actually watching our programs. If you're watching right now, call in your support and show how much you appreciate this fine programming that you've become accustomed to watching in the company of your own home in your own comfortable chair. Call right now the number on your screen and show your support. This is the most cost-efficient, cost-effective way for us to reach the people who watch. And if you're watching, we'd like you to support. Call right now the number on your screen so that we can continue bringing us the quality program you're used to watching.
People are calling already, dialing the number on the screen, and when you call, we'd like you to give our operators your name, your address, your telephone number, and the amount that you would like to pledge. Just $25 a year can start you off as a member, and it will get you all the benefits like fine-tuning magazine, tax deduction, lost key protection, and many others. And when you call, select how you would like to pay, either by check or money order. We'll send you an envelope for your check, or you can pay by your Visa or MasterCard. Simply have the card number and the expiration date ready to give to our operators when you make that call. Or why not consider our installment plan? $5 a month or $10 a month is very easy for you to pay out through the course of the year, and we will even send you a reminder each month and an envelope for you to drop your check in and put it in the mail to us. It'll never be easier than it is right now for you to join the Channel 1036 Friends. Dial the number on your screen and then sit back and know that you're supporting the programs you watch week after week on Channel 10.
According to a recent AC Nielsen rating book, 372,000 people watch this station weekly, but only 35,400 are members. That's only 1 out of 10 people who watch contribute to the Channel 1036 Friends. Imagine how much better our service would be on both 10 and 36 if we could raise that to 4 or 5 people out of 10 contributing a membership to the Channel 1036 Friends every year. It would be oh so much better for us to offer you an increased and better service than you're getting even right now. Won't you call? It's your membership combined with everyone else's that makes it possible for us to bring you the quality programming that you're accustomed to. And if you're watching right now but are not a member, this message is for you. Call the number on your screen and do it now.
You know, we have a real challenge ahead of us in the future with the federal funding being cut back for public television. It the burden to keep financing going for your public television stations will rely more and more on you, the viewers and individuals who watch channels 10 and 36 throughout the year. So why not call right now, start receiving the benefits, not only Fine-Tuning Magazine and the other membership benefits, but knowing that you're keeping great quality programming on all year long, from the symphony to classical music to country music. It's your public television station, and the programs that you watch and enjoy are supported by your membership. Call right now, and thanks.
You have a lot of friends in public television, and you'll find them all right here on WMVT Milwaukee.
Welcome back to the Ozaki Country Club in Mequon, Wisconsin. Adrian Sakowitz along with Bill Rhyme. There you see our vantage point right outside the rink, and Bill, we've got an interesting development so far in this fourth end for Wisconsin.
Right, Steve here has gotten a miss out of Russ Armstrong from Illinois, and he has got 2 stones in the house, and he's drawing again here to get another one in. He's playing conservatively here. He's decided not to take this other white one out. He's still going to have the house split for 2. He got a nice shot from George. Real nice, beautiful. So if he can get his 2 points here, he can tie the score, and everything's back to even again.
There you take a look at George Godfrey. And down on the far side, getting ready to throw, John Jahant.
Tim's having John throw this takeout. He's trying to get it to roll across the rings here towards Steve's other stone.
Hurry! Hurry! Come on! Hurry!
Oh, just caught it a little bit too thin. Now Steve's trying to get it out as far as he can. Okay, it's a good stone. It's actually an advantage here for Wisconsin. Steve's stone is sitting in front of Tim's, and if they elect to take it out, they could drive it back onto the white one and give Steve an opportunity for even more than 2.
3 stones in the house, as you see. Steve Brown pointing where he wants his next shot to go as Jeff Goodland sets himself for Wisconsin. There you see Jeff.
Okay, just a draw, just a draw. This looks a little heavy here. It looks a little heavy. Jeff's he was light earlier the previous end, and now he's making a little adjustment, trying to make sure he was there, and it looks heavy. This is
going to slide all the way through it.
Yeah, this hurts Wisconsin.
That's not what Jeff wanted at all. He wanted it to stay in the house and be a potential point, but we get a look at Jeff after throwing that rock and not too happy with it.
All right.
There you see his delivery.
Nice. Jeff's got what we call a flat-footed slide delivery. We'll be able to watch the Illinois guys. They slide up on their toe, a little bit different style. We could have a break here coming for Wisconsin. Oh, okay, good shot by John.
John Jahant from Illinois, putting his rock in there. There you see John. That was his second and final toss. Jeff Goodland gets one more. 3-1 is the score. Wisconsin trails in the fourth end out of 10. There you see Jeff.
Okay, in this case, Steve has elected to play a draw. Since John Stone is behind the tee line, Jeff can come and rest on it and still be closer to the center, and also make it very difficult for Illinois to take it out. So this is one of the hardest shots in curling, a freeze. It's just a little heavy, just a little heavy. Didn't quite do it. He moved John over.
There you see it. So the stone from Illinois is partially blocked by the stone out in front.
Yeah, it leaves Tim. What Tim wants to do here in this situation, he wants to roll the other way. He doesn't want to get his stones bunched up where Steve can set one of his red ones in front of it and make it difficult for him to chip it out.
Well, the stone from Wisconsin is right out in the open. And that's exactly what Tim Wright is looking at right now.
Again, we can watch Tim Wright's delivery too. He and John deliver very, very, very much alike, up on their toe a little bit. I'd call it the Winnipeg delivery. I see a lot of Canadians deliver like this. Notice the broom alongside him instead of out.
And there it goes. Coming down, hitting it square. And
okay, good stone, but not really what he wanted in this case. He really wanted to roll his stone over. I believe Steve will be drawing down right under the face of this white one.
Tim Wright with a successful shot, but
there you can see his back foot's over, and you can just see underneath there his right foot. And he's way up on his toe, and his knee's bent way under. It puts a lot of strain on your knee, but it's very effective. There, you can see him way up on his toe.
doesn't look too comfortable, but it gets the job done. Tim Wright and John Jahant get a moment for a breather while Steve Brown works on his stone in preparation for his first of his 2 throws.
Again, this is one of the hardest shots in curling. He's got to throw exactly the right weight, and he's also got to call the exactly the right broom, because he wants to end up.
We see facing us a little X on that one, Bill. What does that designate?
Okay, all the players here this week, we've all marked the stones and taken so that we all threw the same 2 stones every time. Because sometimes there's some slight variation in them. They will curl a little bit more. So we were just making sure. And so Steve has marked his with the X. So he always throws the same 2 every end.
There goes Steve. I noticed Steve does not pick the stone up.
No.
And some of the other players gave it a good backswing.
Right. He uses all leg drive and a little bit of arm push to deliver his stone. He's got a pretty good stone if he's got it far enough. He's got a good stone. I don't know if it'll be shot though. No. Okay, Tim is shot here. Steve is second. Tim's going to elect to draw down here. He doesn't want to give Steve a chance for 2.
Tim Wright looking things over with John Jahant. And they're talking about exactly where he wants it to end up. And there we see Steve's delivery again.
Right. Notice one of the key things in a good curling delivery is to get the stone extended out in front of you. And you can see there the whole time Steve.
Way up on his toes also.
You're right. The 2 guys not on there, pretty much George and Hunts and Jeff are basically, and Jim Wilson for Illinois are pretty much flat-footed. Everybody else on these 2 teams are toe sliders, as we call it.
How did you learn to curl, Bill? Was it, is there a club in Canada that you, or Alaska that you go to particularly, or was it been in the family, or how do most curlers get started?
Oh, I'm a family curler. My father started me, my grandfather curled since I was 12 years old.
How long have you been out in Alaska? And I understand you're originally from here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I've lived in alaska 6 years. Curled in Madison and Portage for a long time when I lived in Wisconsin.
Here comes the shot from
He's got a good stone
Tim
here.
Wright.
Oh, it's a little heavy. It's a little heavy. Steve may have an opportunity here. No, that's a good stone. You can see the way they're lined up there. It's impossible for Steve to take both of those white stones out. There's no way he can hit those and move them both out. He's got no choice here but to take 1 point. He's got what is a shot.
Here we see it again. That shot from Tim Wright, putting another Illinois stone in potential scoring position.
The key to this shot again is Tim has real nice weight, real nice touch on this stone, and gets a nice little roll.
Now it's the last shot, and it belongs to Steve Brown. And Steve has his work cut out for him again here, because right now Illinois is sitting with 2 points in the house. But the best he can do is take out probably one of those and maybe give up a point, or maybe take a point for Wisconsin himself, depending on where he puts the stone.
Right, he'll be playing the same weight he just played, same stone. Again, that's another thing you want to do. You don't want to change your shots. If you just played one shot, you want to come with the same one you just played. So Steve, I'm sure he's confident that he'll be able to make this, because he just played this shot. He knows the ice and he knows the weight.
There you see Steve Brown. Backing off just a minute there.
There's probably something on the ice in front of him. He saw something and decided to start over.
Steve, the only curler in today's competition wearing a baseball hat. And it looks all set. Final throw of the fourth end, Wisconsin trailing 3-1. There goes Steve.
I think they think he's a little light here. Looks a little light. They're really going to have to go on this. They're really going to have to go to get it here. They're really going to have to go.
This could be trouble for Wisconsin if it doesn't get there.
They're really working. Oh, boy.
Oh, that is problems for Wisconsin.
That was not what Steve wanted.
Oh, boy.
He just came up short on that.
Steve Brown a little light. And all of a sudden, at the end of 4 ends, Illinois has taken a 5-1 lead. That one could be costly for Wisconsin, Bill.
Yeah. That's the last thing was in Steve's mind. He had those 2 stones there. He could afford to be 10 or 12 feet heavier and even bump those white stones back, and it wouldn't have hurt him. Being light here was, I'm sure, the last thing that he was wanted, or the last thing on his mind when he went to throw that stone.
That's right. That was probably, besides missing everything, the one thing he didn't want to do, as you mentioned, being heavy would have been that costly.
Right. He could have been a little heavy, and he would have still bumped the white ones back and ended up with a point.
There you take a look at it coming down short and leaving his rock just too short, in Illinois taking 2 points and now taking a 5-1 lead at the end of 4 ends. We begin the 5th end. Illinois, having won the 4th end, will throw first once again, but they threw first in that last end and it worked to their advantage. They took 2 more points. There we see the first rock thrown by Russ Armstrong. And that's how we ended up the last end.
Okay, those 2 white stones are closer to the center than any of the red stones, and so Tim ended up with 2 points in this end. Interesting, through 4 ends here, Tim Wright is shooting about 87%. Steve only 50%, and I think that's really, right now, the difference in the game. They've been pretty even through all the other players. Tim is just curling a little better than Steve right at this point.
Hans Kostrowski, the lead for Wisconsin, has to get things off on the right foot and get his Wisconsin team back in this one. We're in the 5th end, but 5-1, you're down. Can't afford to get down too many more, because Illinois can start playing some tough defense on you.
Yeah, right. Basically, I think Tim's strategy at this point will be run all the Wisconsin rocks off, not give him anything. And you can notice Tim has a stone in the house. Steve is ignoring it. He's trying to put some rocks up front to give him some things to come around to make Illinois shots harder to play.
How are the trips funded to this competition in particular, Bill? Does the Alaska Curling Club pay for you to come down here? And how about the World Championships? Is that out of your own pocket, or is it handled by your club?
Okay, as far as the national championships here, the USCA pays our airfare and a good share of our lodging. Our club gave us some money to buy uniforms and things like that. The Silver Broom, our World Championship, is paid for. All your expenses are paid for by the championship committee, the Silver Broom committee.
That'd be a nice trip to Scotland for either one of these teams, and Illinois right now with a 5-1 lead. case you're wondering, from 1957 through 1984, a team from Illinois has never gone to the World Championships.
I was talking to the Illinois guys earlier in the week, and I believe they've tied the best record ever for an Illinois team in this competition, and of course now making a final is their best showing ever.
And they have a 5-1 lead in the 5th end. And Hans Kostrowski with his second shot.
Again, Steve just ignoring that white stone. Basically, he needs some rocks in front to draw around and
there you see it.
Tim will just, I'm sure, will just continue to take these stones off.
Bill, what would the strategy be now for this team from Illinois? Are they in a position to just play defense the rest of the way?
Right, make Steve make the plays at this point. Tim will play, he'll just play takeout all the way. Just like he is. He's trying to roll this one out. He doesn't want any stones in there, doesn't want to give Steve anything to roll to or come in front of. And they've been real good at it all week. If they've gotten ahead, they've played well when they've been ahead.
A 4-point lead for Illinois, and I suppose that would take more than one end to catch up under most circumstances. Therefore, if you can play enough defense,
he'll run Steve out of ends basically at this point. I mean, he could do that. Just even if he once in a while gives up one, he won't be concerned.
Steve a little troubled right now. He's got to get his team back into this. And the Illinois team on the other side, pretty cool and calm.
Yeah, they look real relaxed right now. They're rolling.
They're having a lot of fun. Wisconsin and George Godfrey. There you see the rock coming down near the house.
Again, it's too heavy. Steve wanted this stone up short of the rings. It's just not what he wanted.
So far, with Wisconsin trailing 5-1, the obvious difference, the Illinois team is just out curling the Wisconsin team.
Yeah, I think right now, especially Tim has just made a few more shots than Steve at this point, and that's really the difference in this game.
And you see Jim Wilson really letting one fly, and
got a good shot there. Just chip him out again, not leave anything for Steve to draw to or come around.
Happy with that one, just motioning exactly what he had in mind, and he did it. There you see Jim Wilson.
He's trying to get, he's getting a reading from Tim there if he hit his broom or not. Jim, I think, thought he was maybe a little narrow. Just checking it out with Tim. There's a lot of communication going out there between the players. You're trying to all the time check out with your skip that you've played exactly the weight that he called for, or you were right on his broom. So next time you play, you know where you are.
George Godfrey with his second throw. Coming right down the middle. Now it begins to curl slightly.
Again, it looks a little, no, it looks fine. That's fine. That's where he wanted it. Oh. Now again, he's come too deep. He's 5 or 6 feet too heavy.
A look of concern that time from George Godfrey. John Jahant now throwing for Illinois.
And you can see watching John's delivery here. He and Tim are very similar. Broom along the side and up on their toe. Been very effective, very smooth all week.
Throws a heavy stone once again. Just changes places. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, that's a good stone. I think, though, Tim in this case would have rather had him roll out. He just doesn't want to leave anything there for Steve.
Five to 1. We're in the 5th end. The United States Curling Association Championships from the Ozaki Country Club in Mequon, Wisconsin. Beautiful facility. And Jeff and Steve,
I think they're
contemplating here. And what are they talking about, do you think?
Well,
Bill?
I think what they're trying to decide here, Steve is either wants to play a takeout and roll behind Illinois' white stone, or he may decide to freeze to the front of it. The takeout, of course, and the roll leaves him shot, and not Tim without much of a shot. But the freeze will leave him in front, but it will not leave him shot. He will not be closest to the center. So he's kind of trying to decide whether he's trying to set it up for a later shot or go behind there right now, I think is what he and Jeff are discussing.
There you get a look at the overall facility indoors here at the Ozaki Country Club. And the curling rink as you see it. And the players planning their strategy. Outside in just a couple of months from now on these undulating fairways, there'll be a lot of golf action going on at one of the hillier courses I've run across up here. Never played it, but just saw it right now. Looks like it'd be swallowing several dozen of my balls out there.
I'm sure it'd take mine too.
Steve Brown for Wisconsin has everything in position, got his broom pointed to where he wants Jeff to let it go. And
okay, they're playing the draw. They're playing the draw to the face of this the Illinois stone that's closest to the center here. And what the idea is here, they'll set something up. Hope they're in front of it. Illinois will possibly drive the red one onto the white one. Something like that is what they're going for. No, he's going behind it. Take that back. That's a beauty.
Nice shot that time.
It's not quite all the way behind there. I think Tim can see a part of it. You know, again, he'll be playing John to chip this out.
There's Jeff Goodland. Jeff with very, very fine style. We'll get a chance to take a look at that a little bit later on. And John Jahan. His second throw, and there you see Russ Armstrong. Checking both sides, checking with his skip, and then checking with John, and there's Jim Wilson. And here's John.
He's just playing soft weight, trying to chip this out here. Looks a little light. Looks a little light. Okay.
There you see.
I don't think John was too happy with that shot.
Well, now it's up to the other side, the team from Wisconsin back. Jeff Goodland. We take a look overall. Some of the spectators today inside the facility. This gentleman weathering the 40-degree temperatures inside because there's not too many seats out here where it's 70 degrees or so. And there you see the spectators here that packing the Ozaki Country Club area, one side and the other. The Milwaukee Curling Club housed right here at the Ozaki Country Club. There you see the Wisconsin State champs and the emblem right there for Jeff.
Again, I think there's just a strategy discussion going on here. Steve and Jeff trying to decide exactly what they want to do. They've got an opportunity here possibly to score 2, or maybe if they get another break, they could get 3. And he wants to make sure at this point they can't afford any more mistakes.
It's a little cool out there. Probably no cooler than it is right outside right now, but you look around here and the crowd on hand is seeing great competition this week, and Wisconsin so far started off very, very strongly. 6 victories in a row. There you see the teams that they've beaten. And they had 7th in a row before a loss to North Dakota. Then they strung 4 more, most recently to Connecticut, a victory. But now Wisconsin having some problems, trailing 5-1 against Illinois.
He's trying to get the roll across here. No, I didn't quite do it.
That Connecticut score was from the semifinals earlier today. That victory against Connecticut put Wisconsin in the finals against Illinois.
Now we'll see. Tim, all week, this has been one of Tim's big, strong points this week. He's going to play the double, I believe, here. He's been making these shots all week. Tough shots, but he's been right on them.
We take a look at situations so far. Talking about a double, Bill, explain to our viewers out there what exactly a double is comprised of.
Okay, in this case, he wants to remove both those red stones. He can see just enough of the red stone there that's behind the white one. He wants to hit that thin roll across the face and hit the other red one and take them both out. Tough shot, but he's been making these all week. It's the bold play here. He could play safely and just play the other one off, but I think he feels that he's got a lead here. If he can make this shot, he can really keep Steve on the defensive.
This is the first shot for Tim Wright.
And this is one of Tim's strong points. He's a real fine takeout and plays these kind of shots beautifully. He's got it. He's got it. Great shot. Terrific shot.
The shot of the day so far.
I think we all learned this week not to leave him those kind of shots. He made them on all of us.
Skip Tim Wright comes up with a beauty of a shot, cleaning the house of the Wisconsin Stones.
You can see in this case, Wisconsin shot wasn't quite good enough. Just being a half-inch off or a foot off here cost them the opportunity to score 2 points. Jeff really needed a better shot. He made an okay shot, but not a good enough shot against a player like Tim.
Tim is the skip of this Illinois team. Skip, the same as the team captain. Is it an elected position, or how does it work, Bill?
Well, sometimes it's elected. Most of the time, it's a skill. It's basically usually your best player is your last player, the guy that can play the best under the pressure and can handle making that last shot when your team needs it.
And the skip for Wisconsin, Steve Brown.
He's trying to draw down to Tim Stone, but very difficult here. He's got a good stone. Looks a little bit heavy, just a little heavy. John's trying to get it back. Okay, Tim is still shot, still counting one at this point. I believe he'll put up a guard. Again, Steve's in a lot of trouble right now on this end. If John makes a good guard, Steve will have nothing. He'll only have a draw. He'll only be able to try and draw in there and score 1 point. Okay, if the end were over right now, Tim, excuse me, would have 1 point at this point. And what Tim is going to try and do here is leave a guard up on the top of the rings on the center, so Steve can't come around and get to the center of the house, or the rings.
Illinois leading 5-1, and
you can see him patting his broom on the ice. That's the spot he wants his stone to come to rest.
right in there. And Tim Wright, skip from Illinois, right now scoring one down on the other side, wants to put the guard up and block that one, forcing Steve Brown to make a beautiful shot to possibly take a point for Wisconsin in the fifth end here at the national championship. And getting in position is Tim.
I think he wants to, the reason he's talking to his sweepers down here, he wants to make sure they know exactly where he wants the stone. He does not want this to come too far and give Steve an opportunity to double him. He was just giving a little instructions to his sweepers, make sure you don't get it in there too far.
His team with a 5-1 lead. Let's watch Tim Wright.
Okay, and the sweeper's job here is to gauge this weight and make the decision for the team on exactly how fast that stone is traveling. It's their job to help and make the placement of that stone so it's where you want it. That's what a good sweeping team will do for you. It's a good stone. Good stone.
Doesn't mind being short because that puts up the block, which is what they need. And you see it. That's how it looks right now. Illinois still.
As you can see there, Steve, the center is pretty well blocked. Steve only has one shot to come in. The sweeping here is trying to hold the line so it doesn't get too far over, and you can see it's up on the center line. Nice shot by Tim.
Does your sweeping affect much movement you know, the horizontal way besides vertical? Can you sweep it and maybe hope to get an angle out of it?
No, okay, the sweeping will do two things. One, it will make the stone travel farther, and two, by traveling farther, in effect speeding it up, it will hopefully reduce the amount of curve or curl. So what you can do is make it stay on the line that you want it to. If it's too hard or it's gone past where you want to, there's nothing you can do about it.
Steve Brown.
Steve's here. He's trying to draw into the red, or as we call it, the 4-foot. The circles are, each of them are 2 feet wide, or 2-foot radius. So he's trying to get into the 4-foot, which is the red circles. He doesn't have to be quite that far, but he has to be awful close. He looks like a pretty good stone. Well, they're going to have to really go. Oh boy. Steve is just having his problems here today. He's really, you can see, he's pretty disgusted.
There it goes. Steve Brown not make a shot on that one. And Bill, what are you thinking right now? What do you think Steve's thinking?
I don't know what he's thinking. Steve, throughout the week and as long as I've curled against him, he's usually ready to play in big games like this. I don't know. Just maybe he's lost his touch a little bit. It kind of looks like it. He's usually got great touch and is able to draw that 4-foot anytime he wants it, and he just hasn't had that weight this afternoon. I don't think it's the pressure. He's played in too many big games.
At the end of 5 ends, Wisconsin leading. Wisconsin trailing the team from Illinois by a score of 6-1. We'll be back with a look at the statistics and have more right after this timeout.
Hope you enjoyed the program that you just watched. You know, it's one of the many fine programs that you see on public television. Whether they're regular programs or specials, they're all made possible by your voluntary contributions to public television. Some of the specials that you do see on our pledge drive, of course, are representative of what public television can do. It's the very best we have to offer. And your pledges during these pledge drives make it possible for this station to produce high-quality, entertaining, and exciting programs. Your pledge right now will keep great TV on the air. Call now.
And pledging is a very simple thing to accomplish. You simply go to your telephone and dial the number that you see on your screen right at this point. And when you dial that number, you will hear a friendly voice on the other end asking what you'd like to pledge. Your name, your telephone number, and your address, and then how much would you like to pledge. We suggest $5 a month as a very good basis on which to join the Channel 10 36 Friends. That's pennies a day when you figure it out over a year, and we hope that you will decide on $5 per month. What are the benefits that you get? Well, here they are, a whole lineup of them, one of the most important of which is a fine-tuning magazine which comes into your home each and every single month, and you will have with that a complete listing of all of the programs on Channel 10 and Channel 36 and special articles about the station as well. A lost key tag feature, a little tag that fits onto your keys, and should they be lost, they'll be returned to you, and a bumper sticker that announces to you that you are the Friends of Channel 10, and to everybody who sees your car. So join us tonight by calling in a membership right now.
And it's great to hear from you. You know, public television is a partnership, and that $5 a month pledge that Otto talked about is important. But MVS recognizes that it has an important part of the partnership, and we constantly search for new programs and program ideas that will be of interest and importance to you as a viewer. We try to live up to our half of this deal by producing quality local interest programs that inform, entertain, and enhance the quality of your life here in southeastern Wisconsin. But we look to you for an equally important half of this partnership. You provide the major source of funds with which public television can purchase and produce these programs. We know we can count on you as much as you can count on Channel 10. So why not become a partner in the production business by calling in your pledge right now? The number's on your screen, the operators are here to take your pledge, and they're eager to hear how much you enjoy programs like the ones you've been seeing tonight. Call now.
And we hope that you will use that $5 per month membership arrangement. You may be watching this program on cable television, and maybe Channel 10 and 36 come into your home that way, and you may be saying to yourself, well, that money that I send to the cable company goes to Channel 10 and 36 too, or a portion of it. That is not the case. None of the money that you send to the cable company comes to our public television station to support the fine programs that you're seeing here on Channel 10 and 36. So please, if you're under that misapprehension, will you please correct that by calling us right now at the number that you see on the screen and join the Channel 10 and 36 friends with a $5 per month membership to keep these high-quality programs coming into your home. You'll be happy that you did, and it will enable us to do a better job of programming for you and members of your family.
And of course, one of the advantages that people think of when they think of cable is variety, but when you look at that collage of programs on the back, you recognize that public television has something for everyone all the time, and it's a lot of special interest programming. And if you have a special interest in the programs that are coming up later today, it's important that you make that pledge by calling now. Thank you.
Championships, the 6th end here at the Ozaki Country Club, Illinois, with a 6-1 lead, but as we can see, Bill, things can change in a hurry.
Yeah, we've just had 3 misses out of Illinois. Kind of surprising with the lead that they've got now. Steve has got a real chance to get back in this game. He's lying 3 points. Get another one in here, he's got a real good chance to get 3, possibly a 4-end. This is a big break here. This could really change this game around.
At the end of 5 ends, the score was 6-1, as we had mentioned, but all of a sudden, Wisconsin threatening to jump back into this game in quick fashion. Jeff Goodland now for Wisconsin. Adrian Sakowitz along with Bill Rhyme. And here's Jeff Goodland throwing third.
This is an important shot here for Wisconsin. They need this one in the right position. They don't want to give Illinois a chance again for a double like Tim made the last time. They want to make sure. Oh, it looks heavy. It looks heavy. Oh, looks a little heavy. It's all right. It's not really what Steve wanted, but Tim's going to stay with the double he just played here on the other side. Good call on his part.
There you see Tim Wright, the skip for the team from Illinois, and the percentages. Bill, you can explain this as the kind of system you brought along with you. Let's take a look at the stats.
Right. You can see the difference in the players. Steve is just not playing up to his potential. He's down there at 46%, and he needs to be up in the 70 to 75% range to win this game.
Well, the difference up to this point could be the play between the 2 skips.
Yeah, exactly. I think Tim's percentage at this point is almost 90%. He hasn't missed anything, and that. Yeah, there we go. Tim at 90, and that is really the difference in the game right now.
But as we see, you can make up some points in a hurry, and that's exactly what Wisconsin's hoping to do right now. Jeff Goodland with his 2nd rock for Wisconsin, and on the other side, Steve Brown pointing the way.
This is a place in the ice. Yeah, I know well how Jeff feels here. I missed several shots in this spot. There's a little tricky spot in the ice there. It runs real straight. It won't curl much, and if you throw a little heavier than you should, it will not come up there. Here we go with Tim again. He's playing a double for sure, maybe a triple. He could really ruin the end for Steve.
Right to Tim's left, there is another rock, which at this point would be the closest to the middle. And they're looking exactly how they want to play the double. There you see.
There is actually a triple there if he gets it just perfectly. I'm sure he's just playing to make sure he gets 2 of them, and if he gets the triple, it's a bonus.
We saw Tim Wright make the shot of the day. It was a beautiful double. earlier in the match, and now he's trying for another one. Jeff Goodland and the rest of the team, Hans Kostrowski, George Godfrey, Steve Brown, the members of the Wisconsin team from Madison, Wisconsin. It's the curling club out in Madison, and here goes Tim Wright.
Oh, great shot, great shot.
Beautiful shot again for Tim Wright.
He's just been on the money today. But again, Wisconsin kind of let him have that shot by missing theirs. They had a real opportunity here today. Here it comes. He just has to hit this, hit that red one real thin, and it'll bounce off there. Hit the other red one, and then knock the back one out. Beautiful shot. Real fine shot.
Beautiful shot, Tim Wright. Now it's Steve Brown. Steve Brown setting himself right above Steve's head as the scoreboard that is being kept inside the rink. Scoreboard shows a 6-1 lead in favor of Illinois in the sixth end. Large crowd on hand here. Indoors, there's also a room full of people watching on a monitor. Also in the back there, maybe the best seats in the house there. They can relax a little bit, have a couple drinks, and watch all the action right here from the Milwaukee Country Club.
Okay, Steve, again, he was playing a takeout shot here, trying to get a little roll. He's got a good shot.
He's gonna roll out.
He's rolling out here. Oh, boy. Yeah, Steve is having his problems here. It's really unfortunate. He's played so well all week. This is, I'm sure, his worst game.
There you see Steve and Jeff. Bill, especially in Alaska, speaking from there, how did you come to represent the state of Alaska? And then tell me a little bit about how Wisconsin, how they came to be represented by Madison.
Okay, most of the states run a play-down system where you play down in your club. You take the top 1 or 2 teams from the club. They play in either a district, or if you're in a case of a smaller state such as Alaska, we just go directly into our state playdowns and play down with Fairbanks in a double elimination type tournament. Wisconsin has a club playdown, then a district playdown.
6-1 is a score, and we are still in the sixth end. Tim Wright throwing for Illinois. We'll talk more about the qualifications after we see this throw from Tim.
He's playing a guard here, just trying to leave it up in front of in the front part of the rings, not give Steve any shot to play with his last. Looks like a good stone, good stone. He's also trying to just nice stone, beauty, beauty. He's left Steve with nothing, basically. Steve's got to draw in here and touch the 1 foot, basically. Very difficult shot coming for Steve. Yeah. The sweeper's there, just keeping an eye on it, make sure it gets into the right position.
There you see it. Steve Brown, once again, in a precarious position. His work cut out for him again. There you see him from our overhead camera. And now Steve Brown needing a good throw right here.
He said Steve's come up short twice on these draws. He seemed to struggle with his draw weight here in this game. So this is a real important shot.
How quickly things changed in this end. When the end began, just before we came back, we saw Wisconsin in a commanding position. And all of a sudden, the tide has turned.
Yeah, Steve, it's just you can't afford to make a mistake. He had an opportunity, and his team really didn't help him out in this end. He could be laying 2 or 3 very easily here. They made their shots, but they just didn't. And sometimes it goes like that when you're behind and you need to. Things don't quite go your way always. I'm sure he's going to make sure he's there after the last 2. It looks a little heavy. It looks a little heavy. This is probably pretty much going to do this.
Well, Steve Brown,
I'm afraid this.
Obviously disappointed, yeah, Bill.
This guy, I don't. As long as Illinois doesn't collapse here, there is no way that Steve can catch a team like Illinois in a matter of 4 or 5 ends.
2 more points for Illinois. The 6th end has been completed, and the score: Illinois 8 and Wisconsin 1. Boy, how the tide can turn quickly in that 6th end. Wisconsin had a chance to cut into that 6-1 deficit, and as it turned out, Illinois puts 2 more points on the board in that trip to Scotland, looking better and better for this team from Wilmette, Illinois.
You can see here Tim standing back at the back of the rings there. He's having his teammates throw him through. He's not going to leave anything for Steve anywhere. The idea is you haven't got enough ends to catch up to me. It's basically Tim's philosophy at this point. I'll give you 2, and I'll take the hammer back and score 1, and you just don't have enough time to catch me.
So the strategy from Illinois, give up a couple, but doesn't really matter. You've got a 7-point lead right now, and we're playing in the 7th end.
I mean, I'm sure Tim would not like to give up any, but if he does, he will not get excited, or I don't think it'll bother the team at all.
As we saw the defensive averages earlier in the telecast, saw that this team from Wisconsin giving up, I believe, 7.7, and they've already given up 8.
Yeah, Steve's basic philosophy is he's got to go for a 3 or a 4 here. That could possibly get him back in the game. If he could leave some stones up front, draw around him, get a miss out of Tim, he might get a 3. He could still have a chance.
As we mentioned, a team from Illinois has never gone to the World Curling Championships, not since 1957, as long as the records have been kept. For the U.S. Men's Curling Championships in '84, just last year, the team from Hibbing, Minnesota represented this country. And it was back in '82 when the team from Madison, Wisconsin made the trip to the World Championships.
There's a good shot again. Tim's trying to peel him off. Through 6 ends here, we've got Tim at 92%, real strong game, and Steve only at 41%. And you can see the differences. It's clearly reflected here in the score.
Tim, the skip from Illinois, 92, and Steve, the skip from Wisconsin, less than half of that, according to the statistics kept tableside. And it's reflected in the score, 8-1. Illinois on top of Wisconsin.
Steve just trying here to draw around it, get it hidden a little bit so Tim can't see it. It's a good stone there by Hunts. Real fine.
Hans Kostrowski. From Wisconsin on the other side, that's the broom handle of Tim Wright, pointing for his fellow teammate Jim Wilson, and here's Jim.
Looks a little wide here. I don't think he's going to come up and get it. Maybe just a piece of it. Looks a little bit wide. Yeah. And you can see Jim looking. He's talking to Steve or to Tim, trying to get a reading on miss the broom or a little heavy.
Now the strategy from Steve.
Again, he's going to try and hide another one here. He hasn't got much choice. He's got to just keep trying to hide them and hope he gets a few more misses from Tim, his team.
George Godfrey, let's fly, and sweepers Jeff Goodland, Hans Kostrowski.
Looks a little heavy again. No, that's a good stone. Okay, you can see those two stones there. They are lined up somewhat, and a real good shot here from Jim. Possibly could double him. I don't know if Tim will be playing the double or not. He may be just playing safely here. Just take one of the stones out, not worry about the double.
Any surprises so far this week that you've noticed, Bill, in the overall tournament as the favorites coming in? Who would have had the edge, you think?
Well, I think Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota were the favorites. Illinois is a big surprise. They were they were 1-10 last year. Not this team, a different team. So I don't think anyone's certainly expected Illinois to be in this position at the end of the week. A big surprise. They've deserved it. They've played very well.
And they have a lead of 8-1.
Okay, sweeper's just trying to get this. He almost gets a double. He had to hit it, had to curl just a little bit more, and he would have got them both. A good shot, though, by Jim. Real good shot.
Back to George Godfrey.
Again, Steve just going to freeze down, try and rest on that white one over there on the left side of the rings. It looks a little hard right now. He wants to be right in front of it and resting right up against it. It's a little heavy. It's a little hard. Wisconsin just has had trouble this afternoon with their weight. They're not been as sharp as they were earlier in the week.
Charge ahead for Illinois.
Oh,
blowing by everything.
Just missed there. And I'm sure John's not very happy about that. But again, it's not a big. It's not a big deal. It's, as long as it comes back and makes his next shot here.
Oh, he slaps the ground on that one. Jeff Goodland upset with that.
Sure, Jeff feels it's heavy if that's his reaction. You can see the sweepers just breaking off there. They know it's heavy too. They're just hoping it'll die before it.
It's gone. Jeff wishes he had that one back. Wisconsin's got to figure out a way to get back into this match. Here in the 7th end, they trail by 7 points. 8-1 is the score. Now, John Jahan getting a reprieve from that last miss. No damage done from the shot from Jeff Goodland. Now he's going to try to take out that other stone.
Got a good shot here. Fine shot.
Give him a second chance, and it's exactly what Illinois would want and exactly what Wisconsin can't afford at this time.
Again, Steve has no choice. He's just going to keep playing draws here, trying to freeze in front and hope Illinois will drive Steve's stone onto the Illinois stone, and Steve will still be staying there when the shot's done.
Jeff, 28 years old, also an insurance agent.
Looks heavy again. No, it's good stone. Fine stone. Again, he just bumped it a little bit. I'm sure Tim will play pretty firm weight here. Chip him out, doesn't care if he drives both stones out. Again, this is, he's made these shots all week. He's been automatic with them. He's playing with a lot of confidence.
Tim Wright playing a fine percentage so far. A skip from Illinois. having a great match, keeping his Illinois team in terrific position so far, being up by a score of 8-1. There's the Illinois skip, getting his stone ready and trying to clean the house down there and keep Illinois in their 8-1 lead.
And notice the concentration on Tim's face there. You know, when they're not even sweeping him when he's making shots, he's right on there.
That's beautiful.
He knew when he let that stone go, he had it.
Another great shot from Tim Wright, doing exactly what he intended for it to do, taking out the Wisconsin stone and leaving his own closest to the middle at this point, and Steve Brown trying to change that if he can.
Again, Steve's going to have to try and play the same shot Jeff played. Just play a draw down there on Tim's stone. Try and rest in front of it. Hopefully not move it at all.
There's the push-up and the delivery from Steve.
He's got a good stone. Got a good stone. Fine stone. But again, it's just off center just a little bit. And the way Tim's been playing, I'm sure he'll play hard at it. Play a heavier weight. Try and just split them both out. He doesn't care at this point.
The last stone right now for Tim Wright in the 7th end. Total of 10 ends is what we'll play in this championship match.
Watch Tim again here. I think you'll know as soon as he lets the stone go whether he's got it made. You can just tell. He's kind of got it in his eyes tonight.
Talking to it a little bit right there.
Yeah, I looked at him. Maybe he's a little outside. He's right on it again. He's right on it. You can just, he's just really rolling. He is really rolling here.
Tim Wright is unconscious so far. He's hitting every shot he's throwing.
Yeah, it's I'm sure being a skip, it's fun in being in that position and know you're playing well and just keep making your shots. You get a lot of confidence right now. There it is, real fine shot, real fine. Got rid of both of them. Left Steve with another very difficult shot.
Yeah. There you see Tim. It's all up now to Steve Brown. Steve Brown checking everything over, and
you can notice Stevie's got his own little procedure here. He does everything exactly the same every time when he gets into that hack.
Here goes the final stone of the 7th end in Steve Brown.
Got to have a draw. Needs it in the 4-foot circle there. Looks pretty good. It might be just a little heavy. Good stone. I think he's. It looks like he's in. Little smile from Stevie. They may measure this. It looks very close. No, I guess not.
They're going to give it 1 point to Wisconsin for the 7th end and the score at the end of 7 ends. As we take a look at that final shot from Steve Brown once again. 8 for Illinois and a total of 2 for Wisconsin. And that last shot from Steve.
Good shot.
Needed it to be a little closer, and it was. He goes, boy, there's one. I'll take it for right now.
I know how Steve feels. Skips sometimes have days like this.
Wisconsin has been playing so well all week. They trail here in the finals by a score of 8-2 as we're done with 7 ends. 3 ends left to go, but Wisconsin not having the day today that they were hoping to, especially in this final match. 8-2 they trail, and as far as Illinois is concerned, giving up just 1 is okay with them because there's only 3 ends left. They've got that 6-point bulge right now.
Yeah, again, Tim will just keep running these stones off, taking them out, not leaving Steve with anything.
Skips percentages so far. Steve Brown, 47%, and Tim Wright, 93%. And what that basically means is Tim is hitting.
He's hitting everything.
At a great percentage,
right.
And Steve just is not.
Right, and it's really the difference in the game at this point. Generally at this level, 75 to 80%, you expect your skips to be shooting in that range and for the game. And of course, when somebody shoots as well as Tim, I mean, even if Steve was shooting 70 or 75%, he still probably would be behind at this point just because of the fine play of Tim.
And as it turns out, by virtue of getting a point in the last end, Wisconsin throws first, and the advantage to Illinois. And they don't need any advantages right now. They're up 8-2.
Right. Steve, again, he's just trying to block the center here, get some stones in front, get something behind there, and hope he can get some misses out of Tim's team.
Hans Kostrowski, the lead for Wisconsin.
This is probably Hunts's. He's been curling a long time. He told me before the game this is probably his last year curling competitively. So I know this. He really wanted to win this game. They haven't given up yet.
It's inside the house. This Wisconsin team this year has played a total of 60 games. Matter of fact, they spent 2 weeks in Europe in November. Have also been to Canada twice. It's an experienced group of guys.
Yeah, they've played a long time together, especially Steve and George. They're a solid team. They're just a little off their game today. Again, Tim's playing. Every time Tim needs a shot, he's getting it out of his guys here, not leaving Steve anything.
Russ Armstrong took his second one. There you see Russ, 22 years old. And you guessed it, an insurance agent.
And, even though Wisconsin has a lot of experience, you might point out, too, that Tim and John III have played together for 13 years and also have played over 300 games together. Tim has got all his games down on a little computer and what the scores were, and turns out earlier this year he and John played their 300th game together. So there's a lot of experience as a unit together for Tim and John, and it has shown itself this week.
George Godfrey.
Steve trying something a little different this time, trying to go around the other side of the stone, change the shot, maybe give Tim something he hasn't seen, but just couldn't come up with a shot. Tim's just lining it up here, trying to make sure he knows where he wants Jim to hit the stone. He wants to really move both of these here, not leave anything.
There you see George Godfrey, and here's Jim Wilson.
3.
Not exactly what he wanted there. He really wanted to come across the face of that white stone and split both of them out. But you could see Jim talking to Tim.
As it stands, only one stone in the house, and it's thrown by Russ Armstrong. It's hanging on the edge, but a lot of stones left in this end. It's the 8th end. In case you just joined us, we're at the 1985 United States Curling Association Men's National Championship. We're at the Ozaki Country Club. It's Wisconsin against Illinois. In this final match, the winner going on to the Silver Broom. That's the World Championship. It'll be held in Scotland later in March.
Trying to get around this stone. He's trying to bump up the red one. No, he's got the white one. See, when things aren't going your way, they're not going your way. He was trying to bump up the red one into the rings, and he just curled too much and got the white stone.
Difficult position, to say the least, for this Wisconsin team.
Yeah, they've really got their work cut out for them. And Tim just taking every stone that Wisconsin puts in there out. That's his objective here is just to run them out of rocks. And they're all pretty confident, pretty loose right now. It's a good stone, fine stone.
There you see it. As it stands right now in the 8th end. Wisconsin trailing. Got to get back into this one in a hurry. And 8-2 deficit. Have you seen many of those swing the other way, Bill?
Well, not at this level. Making up 6 points on a team that caliber of Illinois is, it would be the greatest comeback I've ever seen in a championship match if he could do it. Making up 3 or 4 points, it's been done, but not very often. It's just the quality of the players is just too good to let you get to make that kind of deficit up.
We'll see what happens in this one.
This comes in.
There you see Jeff Goodland.
I know Jeff's not too happy either. I'm sure he feels he could have, he would like to have curled better. He's missed a few that he usually was making all week.
John Jahan throwing his first stone. He's talking to a little bit.
Yeah, but he's got it. They are right on. They are really on their money. Another good stone by John. He's curled real steady this afternoon, too. Again, I've got to go back to those 300 games that Tim and John played together. It does make a difference. They know what weight to play, and they know where to set the broom for each other, and they get along real well. Real good communication out there between the two of them, and it really has helped make them a real strong team this week.
From the international competition that you've seen, Bill, how do the United States teams fare against the rest of the world?
We're usually in the top 4 or 5. I believe the last time we won was in 1978. Bobby Nichols from Superior, Wisconsin won in 1978. Steve, I think, finished 5th and did not qualify the year he went in '82. And last year, Bruce Roberts was, I believe, 5th also, and just missed the qualifying. They play the same format we play here, round robin, and then the top 4 qualify. So, the United States team this year should have a good opportunity to qualify if they play as well as they've been playing here.
There goes John Jahan. Doing exactly what he wanted to. Leaving his stone right out in front, and there are 3 other Illinois stones in the house. It's up to Steve Brown now. Steve Brown with 2 stones left, and Tim Wright, who's been sensational so far with 2 stones left. The skips facing each other again so far in the duel of the skips. It's been Tim Wright out throwing Steve Brown, and that's been the difference in the match. 8-2 is the score. Steve Brown hoping to get his team back in a hurry. It's going to take some major mistakes from the Illinois team to let the Wisconsin team in, but we saw the lead turn around. Wisconsin took the 1-0 lead, and they have not scored until that last end when they picked up one more. And in the interim, Illinois got 8 straight points.
This is a little unusual for a championship game to see somebody break on top like this. Last year, I know the game was 5-4, came to the last shot. Very, very tense, very well-played game. And just sometimes it happens, and we see it happen in all kinds of sports. Super Bowl occasionally. This year was the same way, so it's kind of the same kind of thing. Things just are not going Steve Brown's way today. He just wrecked up on that guard. I'm sure he can't believe it. He just, he's in shock. I know how he feels. There's some days when it just won't go right for you.
And Steve pushed that other Illinois rock in the house, and now there are 4 potential points for Illinois. And don't forget, Illinois is throwing last.
I'm quite sure Steve will concede the game after this end. Well, we'll see. I don't mean to speak prematurely here, but if Tim scores 1 or 2 points, Steve will concede the game.
Suppose that's similar to a slaughter rule in a sense. I mean, figuring that you're so far down, you're not going to get back into it, but we'll see what happens. There are still a couple of rocks to be thrown, and Tim Wright with the first of his 2, trying to set up a guard down the middle, and
he's got a good stone. Got a good stone here. Oh, it's a little heavy. It's just a little heavy, it looks like. Well, I think Tim's entitled to 1 miss today. It's his first one.
Well, now it's up to Steve Brown. His last stone. And I suppose he'll be trying for a triple, or...
Well, I think he's going to try and draw here, Adrian. He needs to get to hide one. Taking them all out there won't do him any good at this point. He's got to put one in front of one of the white stones and hope that Tim doesn't take him out. I think he's trying to draw over here to this white stone on the left. That's in the back. That'll be his play.
If you're closest to the middle, you get the point, and every other one of yours that is close to the middle than your other team gets a point also. So if he can pop it close to the middle, exactly where Jeff Goodland is pointing down in the house, he's got a chance of preventing Illinois from scoring 4.
Right. And of course, Tim's still got the last shot. And no matter how good a shot Steve plays here, Tim can always has an opportunity to make an even better shot.
Looks pretty good.
It's a nice stone. Well, this is a chance here for Tim, something not very many of us get a chance to. He's got a chance here to win the United States Championship with this shot. He hits this shot, and this game will be over. It's something, all us skips dream about, and not very many of us get a chance to do. I'm sure a lot of, this is a big moment for Tim if he can make this shot.
He could make this shot and score 5, it looks like.
Yeah, mostly he'll just be thinking, play the way I've been, throw the stones the way I've been throwing them, and it should make this shot.
Tim Wright, the Illinois skip, who so far today has been throwing at 93%. See where this one goes.
He's got it. That's it. Great shot. Great game. You can see big moment for Tim here. That's a thrill of a lifetime.
What a tremendous shot. from Tim Wright. And scoring 5 points for his Illinois team. Tim Wright with the sensational shot, and as you had thought, Bill, the Wisconsin team has called it quits, being down 13-2 after 8 ends. That's all they'll take.
That's a pretty amazing score in a game like this. I was expecting a score of 6-5, 5-4, 7-6, something like that. It's just one of those days for Steams.
Overall, the play of the skips, we would have to say, is what determined the outcome so far today, Bill.
Game at this point.
All right, Bill, there you see the championship trophy. That's going to go to the team from Wilmette, Illinois. It's Wilmette Curling Club down on the North Shore, Chicago suburb. And the 4 gentlemen from Illinois winning: Russ Armstrong, Jim Wilson, John Jahant, and Tim Wright. The championship team from the Wilmette Curling Club representing the United States. They are the new 1985 national champions, dethroning the team from Hibbing, Minnesota, who won it last year. And you see Russ Armstrong. He knows his team has got that trip to Scotland to compete in the World Championships. The final was 13-2. Only went 8 ends out of a possible 10, but the Wisconsin team, knowing that there was too much of a deficit to make up, decided to call it quits, and it's all over. Illinois victorious. There you see the scoring, 13-2 at the end of 8 ends. Bill Rhyme is down there with the winning team, and let's join Bill with the championship team from Wilmette, Illinois.
Thanks, Adrian. I'm standing here with the victorious Illinois team. Tim Wright, the skip. This has got to be, Tim, this has got to be your biggest thrill in curling so far, I'm sure, huh?
You can't match this. We had a super week all week long. These 3 guys are just phenomenal. Our goal was to come in here and go 8-3. We did one better than that. Then we wanted to play the best 2 games of our life, and we did better than that. We were just sensational today.
Yeah, I think we had you percentage out at over 90% today for the game. I think this was your best game all week.
I couldn't do much better than what I did today. I hope I can do this again out in Scotland now.
How about the rest of these guys? John, Jim, and Russ sure gave you a lot of support this week, and sure curled well. I think they're all pretty excited. John?
Yeah, really excited. Yeah. And Tim was unbelievable all week, just fantastic. This was just the way he curled all week, just all week. It's great.
Yeah, Tim, how you guys, what do you think you're going to do to get ready for the World? A lot more practice, going to try and get in some practice games, a Bonspiel or 2? What do you think you're going to do?
We're going up to Thunder Bay in 2 weeks. We might have to take it a little more seriously now than we intended to before, but that'll be our last tune-up, and then we'll head on over.
Okay, great. You guys just going to keep practicing every day, working out, try and keep your games in shape?
Keep shooting.
Yeah. Good. Okay, back to you, Adrian.
Thank you very much, Bill. And as you saw, the delight on all the faces of the team from the members of Illinois,